Well, all right. I guess we should be good now. I didn't know that there was no sound, and I've been talking to you guys this entire time. Yeah, the George Mann Engine Award comic came out today, and I called the comic book shop and I said, "Hey, do you have this?" And she said, "Yep, we have all three variants." And I said, "All right, I'll be right down." And I showed up an hour later, and when I said I'll be right down, she didn't save them for me. So one of the variants was gone. Well, actually, the main one was gone, and it took me 4 hours of traipsing all over New York City to pick it up. And then, yeah, I said a bunch of other stuff too because I've been talking to you guys for almost 10 minutes, but I didn't know wasn't any sound. But yeah, I guess we'll talk about that later. Let's get this book going on. I'll just let us know really quick that we have this is brought to you by the patrons of the Patreon page: Rural Farm Boy, Christina Flores, Kylo Customs, Mr. Ez, Chris from Kentucky, and Heidi Fetter. But let's just go and get started on this, and we'll see where we can get to. No, that's not behaving. Let's see, right there, maybe. Is this the page we're supposed to be on? No, I don't think so. We gotta let it load and see. No, we already did that page. Close. Getting closer. Getting closer. Almost there. I think one, no, two more. Maybe another one. I think this one's about to come up on is where we left off. And this page right here is going to be our, nope, still one more. Wow. There we go. All right, now we're ready. Okay, so we have, oh, I don't like that up there like that. Oh, I guess that's how it's going to have to be. I don't know if I can make that any, enlarge it at all. Well, all right. I guess that's going to have to be okay. Oh, and now we're blurry. It was good before, and then I went scrolling through. Let's see. All right, let me try and get this fixed here right quick. All right, now I'm back. Let's see if we can get this guy back here, if that's going to make it any better. All right, hopefully we're good. I'm going to try and stop messing around then. So yeah, I didn't have the microphone turned on, and then it was blurry. So, all right, let's just get going. One of these days, we'll just be able to fire it up, and we won't have any issues. All right, Lando Calrissian. Though he came late to the fight against the Empire, Calrissian struck a major blow by leading the attack on the second Death Star. Like many of the generation who waged that conflict, Calrissian did not then go easily into a quiet retirement. When peace reigned, he attempted to start a family, but tragedy struck as his infant daughter vanished. It was only later that it became clear who the culprits behind the abduction were. The First Order, building their fighting forces, but also specifically striking at the Old Alliance leadership. Decades ago, Lando was at the helm of the Millennium Falcon when it fired the fatal shot into the heart of the second Death Star. In the new conflict with the First Order, he relishes the chance to repeat history. So, we're going to talk about it later on, about Lando's daughter being kidnapped by the First Order. And we'll leave that talk until we get to it in the book. Okay, Lando Calrissian. The First Order went after us. Leaders from the old wars. They took our kids. Then we see over here on the side, we have Lando's cane, not just a tool to help his aging gait, but also a fashionable accessory. Lando's cane is made from greel wood with metal caps, mined from Vessel's ring. The head of the cane is sculpted to resemble his beloved Cloud City. And then it has an Arrog's tip from Vessler's ring. And then the top, the cane head, Cloud City sculpture, inscribed Baron Landis Calrissian. He has an SE-14R blaster, and we know from the other page he had twin blasters, and one of them was turned into a crossbow. Oh, but it's not a crossbow. It is a custom crafted prod pistol. Make sure we know that in case we have any trivia questions coming up. We have a noise suppressor and range extending barrel, calibrated electroscope, blaster gas cartridge seal, chromium plated, tribred mother pearl. Oh, I was looking for what the hell was going on here. Chromium plated body, tribred mother of pearl finish, and the trigger with adjustable sensitivity. All right. And I lost my phone. I had something on there that I needed for this. But, oh well. I guess we'll just keep going. It's got to be somewhere. Gunslinger. Calrissian's warrior days are behind him, but a dangerous galaxy requires implements of self-defense. He stays in practice by engaging in low-power blaster duels against training remotes. His weapon of choice is one that has been in his collection for decades, a Blastech SE-14R, a repeating blaster that was once the exclusive weapon of Imperial officers. In his younger days, Lando customized a pair by having them placed in brushed Naboo chromium and finishing their handles in a pearlescent gleam. Oh, never mind. I found my phone. All right. And now, because I know everybody was worried about where did I misplace my phone, Maybe Delilah had it and she's calling 900 numbers. Do they even have 900 numbers left? I don't know. But this fun fact file here. Lando may never have finished his Calrissian Chronicle memoirs, but he does regularly recount some of the most outlandish adventures to Aki children. Though largely vanished from the underworld, Lando's name carries a lot of weight among the smugglers and scoundrels community. Okay, and then we have Legacy. Lando Calrissian. Like many in the galactic underworld, Calrissian avoided politics and growing conflict between the Rebel Alliance and the Empire. He took note that the wealthy lived untouched by such concerns and aspired to achieve that separation. Though he has his own brand of heroics, they were often to that singular end. It was not until the Empire threatened the freedom of his people on Cloud City that he realized he could not sit on the sidelines in the battle against darkness. Oh, Mr. Rez is here. How are you doing, Mr. Rez? Glad you could join us. We talked about you briefly to start off, but, you know, that's just the way it is sometimes. Your name was mentioned. Just saying. All right, so the Audorium ring, it's inscribed with Lando's mother's name. Unique chemical lattice lets ring serve as key to coded locks. Now we have a timeline here. 77 BSI. He was born on Socorro. 44. All right, Real Farm Boy, we're going to need a. Am I pronouncing that right? Socorro. 44 BSI. Kessel Run. Loses Falcon to Han Solo. 34 BSI. Smuggles Puffer Pigs off Lothal. That is a great Clone Wars, the cartoon reference. 31 BSI. Cloud City is occupied by the Empire. 30 BSI. Lando fights in Battle of Endor. 29 BSI. Leads the liberation of Cloud City. 27 BSI. Hannah Lando Passer, gangster, Phazon Gore. I believe that comes from the book. Oh, the book is slipping my. What's that book with Lando and Han? I mean, it's Han Solo's book that came out after Solo, but it talks about there's the 3 stages. It's like past, present, future, or I guess I don't know how you 3 different timelines in the book. Somebody in the chat's gotta know what the name of that book is. I can't think of it. Last Shot. There you go. I knew Royal Farm Board would come up with it. I didn't want to call him out, though. But 21 BSI, Lando's daughter is born. 19 BSI, Lando's daughter is kidnapped. 13 BSI, Lando accompanies Luke to Pisana. And 1 ASI, Lando aids the resistance. And then Lando Calrissian, still winning smile. Telger silk dress shirt. The Scorion O-ring blaster with conductive charging holster. He's got his cape is reversible and Ronto hide boots. And something that's really funny, if you take a look at the visual dictionaries or encyclopedias or whatever you want to call them, if you look at it, when it has a picture of Lando, it's like, I forget what they. I'll have to pull them out and see. It's like winning smile, and then this one's still winning smile. There's a third one in there too. I'm pretty sure. I think there's 3 things on that matter. I'll have to look into that, see if I can find it, or I'm just talking crazy. I don't know, one of the two. 6 years after the tragedy that befell his family, Calrissian served as a partner and guide to Luke Skywalker as the Jedi Master searched for clues to a growing darkness he detected in the Force. Whispers spoke to a resurgent enemy from the past, and Skywalker was determined to find some answers. Had some remnant of the Sith survived, Calrissian's underworld contacts passed along rumors of a hunter of Sith relics on Pisana, and while Luke and Lando investigated the world's deserts, wow, I wish I had some dessert right now. I had some pizza for lunch. But anyways, they did not find their quarry. Lando, however, did find some peace and a sense of community among the humble Aki-Aki and decided to stay. Once again, shielded from an accelerating conflict, he felt he had earned his rest after so much sacrifice. And this is Landinius Balthazar Calrissian, Sakura, human. His affiliation is independent. I mean, he says he's independent, but he's really not. He's 1.77 meters, which is 5.11 inches. He is approximately 78 standard age. Lando's communicator, Calrissian's Fabritech Pack 15, is a new model that deliberately mimics a vintage style. He had it converted into a beacon that would bring his ship, the Lady Luck, to him on autopilot. It has a calibration slider and activation buttons and VO pickup. I saw a question in there. Why isn't Lando looking for his daughter? Well, I mean, his daughter was kidnapped and taken by the First Order, and just gone. There's nowhere to find him. It's like saying if the government came and took your child away, you're never going to really see your child again. You can't go find answers. They say they're going to claim they didn't take her, and and then Pauline asked, did the sequel trilogy make this a thing for all the OT characters? Well, we know Lando's daughter was kidnapped, and in maybe Rebel Rising, it talks about how a lot of the kids were kidnapped. But all the leaders that were in the rebellion, they were getting killed off in these random accidents that we find out later on aren't random accidents, and then their kids are disappearing. So, yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here on this next page. Oh, I wasn't ready for it. Where am I? Oh, here I am. I mean, going to the media, it's like, if like you see in The Mandalorian, the TV show, that the rebels went against the Empire, but for years going on afterwards, it's not like all of a sudden it switches over and the next day everything's fine. It's kind of like, I mean, just to make a correlation here, after Japan retired in World War II, or retired, after Japan surrendered in World War II, you still had, not on the Japanese mainland, but you had these soldiers on islands, that were discovered there years and years later, that still thought the war was going on when they were discovered. So, you got to think about it. Going out on the planets, you still have people coming You have like, um, people that are still for the empire, or people that don't even know that the empire is lost. Or if you get into the books, you have some canon books, that are telling you that years after the second Death Star is destroyed, the Empire is still saying that they're alive and surviving, that the Emperor, that Palpatine, wasn't killed. They have fake recordings of him, and they're pretending he's still alive, so that people, don't take the side of the Resistance. So, it's not like you really have, um, like, okay, it switches over today, now everybody follows and listens to us. It's, like let's say that the United States is now in charge of the entire Earth. Well, it's going to take a little bit of time for all these places that the U.S. doesn't have a military base in or any presence in to, get that memo and get the message. And people are still going to be like, okay, I mean, Canada's like, well, we don't want the U.S. to be ours anymore. So, they don't really have rebel fighters, but whatever's left of the Canadian army and things like that, or when the USSR broke up and things just got sold off. And then you have all these little factions. I think that might be a little better off. When the USSR breaks up, and then you have all these little factions that are in power now, and that's how you get a lot of these gangsters and weapons running, and forget about all the nuclear weapons that went missing when that happened. But anyways, let's get back to this book. I'm not saying let's get back to this book, not as in like your question wasn't important. We can talk about that later. But yeah, I want to try and make sure we get this done. Instead of talking now, we can talk. So I'm not saying don't ask your questions now. Ask your questions, and I'm going to just try and give you a really quick answer, and then afterwards I'll give you Michael answers at the end, which I just go on my tirades now because I just spent 10 minutes talking about one thing and talked about 20 different things at the same time. So anyways, all right. So the Desert Pursuit. When known resistance fugitives are spotted amid the festivities on Pisana, nearby First Order security patrols, euphemistically called pacifiers, are activated. TIE fighters and troop transports streak the cloudless skies, the later deploying tread speeders for overland pursuit. Poe Dameron beats a hurried escape, hot wiring a pair of desert skimmers from him and his companions to use. The result, a twisting high-speed chase across dunes and canyons. Kick up plumes of dust at the First Order, and tread speeders tenaciously pursue their quarries. Beyond its heavy weapons, each tread speeder can launch a more unconventional projectile, a heavily armed jet trooper. So I think today, like while I was out on my errand, I had to use my inhaler a lot, and I think like that little stimulant boost it gives you is kind of messing with me a little bit because I feel kind of not like anything's wrong, but just kind of like maybe I did some drugs today, which I didn't do. But anyways, the jet trooper box and the escaping skimmers with explosive lobby from their projectile launchers thought the resistance heroes shake several pursuers. Their rickety skimmers don't last long against such modern heavy firepower. Sun's Blags G125 projectile launcher, tri-barrel projector launcher surrounds standard blaster barrel. Oh, it has a trigger on it. That's nice. Expendable foregrip. And I was looking up. I don't know what you're apologizing for, Pauline. But I'm going to guess you didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, ask your questions, and Rural Farm Boy will write them down. and we'll go over them at the end if I don't catch them. So here we go. A fun fact file. The first order AAL 1971 9.1 troop transport can carry 2 tread speeders, each loaded with a pilot and a jet trooper. Before long, Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren join the chase on Pisana, pursuing separate objectives. And then over here we have a jet trooper. I have a jet trooper right behind me that you can't see because I don't have my camera on right now. Faceplate conceals sensor plate and atmospheric filtration screens, NJP 900 integrated jetpack. So we have a subject CS9147. Homeworld is Automach. It is a human from the First Order, 1.8 meters or 5 feet 10 inches tall, and he is 25 years of age. And I'm saying he because I don't really think we have many female stormtroopers. I don't know if we have any female stormtroopers. They usually, I don't know, do they let women on the front line? They have other jobs. I mean, there's women in the Empire or the First Order doing things. I just don't think they're allowed to be troopers. Huh, that's an interesting question. Thanks for bringing that up, Michael. No problem. You're welcome. All right. Anyways, he has sensor linked to gyroscopes in pack and positive grip boots. Because if we talked about the other day, if they didn't have the positive grip boots, they would be sliding around and flopping around. Rural Farm Boy, why would you say a Funko Jet Trooper? Black Series, man, Black Series. I collect Black Series. Phasma wasn't a stormtrooper though. You know, like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if there were female stormtroopers. I know we have females in the military, but I just don't know if they're stormtroopers. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, that's a good conversation we can have later on about females and the order and the roles that they lead. But yeah, that's an interesting question. I'm gonna have to think about that and pull out some books and see. You know, when you think like Phasma, like even Kylo Ren, when we see him first off in the Force Awakens, like he's there, you know, telling them go after these, go after these people or whatever, and you know he's there in the action, but he's not really doing. I don't know. We'll have to think about this. Rural Farm Boys told me to go watch The Force Awakens. Jet troopers are specialized First Order stormtroopers who soar into battle equipped with agile jetpacks. Mobile propulsion units such as these have been a military tradition since the days of the Old Republic and were made most famous by Mandalorian super commandos. Complex gyroscopes within the center of the pack's math translate body movements into changes of direction and propulsion, having a great degree of body control and thus necessary for becoming a capable jet trooper. Offering further fitness and control are eye motion activated maneuvers programmed into the helmet's visor. Flying a jetpack without a helmet is difficult, though not impossible, to To better survive high altitudes, jet troopers wear insulated armor that come equipped with an air supply. They fly. We're done for. C-3PO. They fly now? They fly now. Yeah, as I was reading that, I just thought about Jana, Royal Farm Boy. Um, hmm. I'm gonna have to do a little bit. Maybe the answer is gonna be in here. Maybe I knew the answer. I'm just trying to get the chat talking and get some stuff going on. Because I'm a sexist and I hate women. I am all for uh, Daisy Ridley is a Mary Sue. Only men should be Jedi. Women don't know how to fight with lightsabers. We hate Brie Larson. What else can we talk about? All right. Anyways, the Treadspeeder pilots feel more connected to their vehicles than most First Order repulsor craft pilots, as they can directly feel each bump and obstacle that shudders along the vehicle's frame. The stiffer spears and vaporators of a dust farm become a slalom obstacle for tread speeders and skimmers alike. The tread speeder is agile and can weave a tight path through the field, though it is more subject to the underlying terrain conditions. So here we have a tread speeder. Well, where we go? We got the tread speeder pilot. Pilot's helmet. HUD is wireless, linked to vehicle unit insignia. I have one of these guys too, I'm pretty sure. Articulated racing fabric with strategic stretch panels and reinforced padding. So the front view on this bad boy, we have a casting contains a credit motivators SD KFZ2 drive mechanism. The rear view over here, we have the Aerotech thruster and the ruggedized operator control screen. Oh, Kylo, I'm glad you just got here. We're all now part of the Fandom Menace. We've joined them now. We've just decided. So we're gonna start making hate videos and screaming at people, and we hate everybody except the original trilogy. Okay, tread speeder. Tread speeders are rugged, shielded patrol bikes designed to counter technology that can jam traditional repulsor craft. The vehicle features a forward treading pod that literally grabs the ground, pulling the vehicle forward with a snarling, dirt tearing ferocity. A rear repulsor negates the pull of gravity, rendering the heavy bike lightweight and granting it agility and surprising speed. Trained tread speeder pilots work in tandem with jet troopers who ride behind them on the seat. With a controlled brake, the pilot can kick the chassis upwards, launching the jet trooper into the sky. So we have the pilot interface. Angled armor protects pilot. Repulsor unit. Drive mechanism power. Plant recharges cables. And the outer rig laser cannon with backflash suppressor plate. And it is manufactured by Aerotech Larderus, model 125Z tread speeder bike. Affiliation first order, height 1.11 meters, which is 3.8 inches. Length is 4.17 meters, 13 feet 18 inches. The crew, one pilot, space for one passenger, who they just talked about are the jet troopers because they fly now. 200 kilometers per hour and 2 heavy laser cannons is what they have. Yeah, the jet troopers ride behind. You have the tread speeder pilot that drives it, and then you have the jet speeder who rides bitch. That's for those motorcycle people out there. Um, Kylo and I, that's how we met each other. We were in a Facebook, YouTube group, and then we found out that the guy in there was completely crazy, and he was like, yeah, and that's why we're no longer there. Um, all right, so let's see here. Oh, we have a little cross-section action of the tread speeder. All right, so here we go. The tread speeder cross-section view. As the first order blazing trails on harsh, untamed worlds and the unknown regions, it designed a rugged, reliable vehicle perfect for isolated scouting explorations. Advancement in the anti-repulsor lift technology also gave this new vehicle a tactical application. The First Order had itself perfectly high-yield repulsor jamming systems, so it saw the military value of vehicles that were immune to such technology. The tread speeder is a hybrid design, a continuous track implier drives the vehicle. A low yield, jamming resistant pulse repulsor lifts are merely secondary systems that assist in stability and maneuvers. It has a ripping into action. The forward track, called the Ripper by tread speeder pilots, is a segmented plastisteel composite tread that wraps around the rapidly rotating drive wheel and related assembly. The track grabs at the ground, pulling the speeder forward. The speeder's weight is reduced to a mere fraction of its normal value by a repulsor lift suspension field that keeps the tail section aloft. A rear thruster synchronized with the drive track boosts the tread speeder's overall speed. Boosts the tread speeder's overall speed when combined with an omnidirectional deflector field baffles adds maneuverability. The end result is an effective mixture of high-tech design and brute force mechanics. Tactical systems. The tread speeder incorporates the latest first-order military shielding technology. Deflector shield on ground vehicles are rare, as atmospheric particles tend to overstimulate the shield system, causing ineffective power strikes and drainage. The First Order's fractional refresh system lets the shield remain active at a diminished state and then go solid when advanced sensor systems in the pilot's helmet detect an incoming threat. For offense, the tread speeder has a pair of Sound Blast heavy laser cannons mounted on outriggers that have self-contained power sources that do not rely on the tread speeder's main power plant. The pilot and passengers can supplement his firepower with small arms fire. And then the tread speeder control. The tread speeder's control interface may seem overly simple at first glance, at least to anyone not wearing a stormtrooper helmet. The pilot's helmet is wirelessly linked to the vehicle, and layer data readout appear on the helmet's integrated HUD. This allows the tread speeder pilot to customize their control inputs and view the most permanent information within their periphery. Driving a tread speeder without a helmet is possible, but not recommended. All right, let's see. Handlebar controls, direction and weapon system. Controller linkage to onboard computer. The next one is a Cadet Motivators SD KFZ to engine. Going back to his rear, synthetic fabric shaped retaining seat cushion, a chiller insulated protects seat from thruster heat. Aerotech thruster, combustion chamber, 7-stage compressor chamber, byproduct heat and waste gases, exhaust pipe, heat sink and redirect vent. Aerotech 125 ZR repulsor unit, footplate, armored fuel tank, laser actuator regulator subsystems, laser actuator. Debris extractor, chem plant deflector shield generator, drive system starter power cell, radiator coolant leak intake cap, engine air. Where was it? I lost my page. Engine air scoop, vent screen, reinforced axle link to drive chain system, tread mechanism drive wheel, plastisteel tread segment, laser cannon, charge cells, laser cannon. All right, and then we have the. Oh, I need to skip your page over, don't I? I want to go read this stuff to you, and there's nothing there for you to look at. All right, there you go. Lickety split on that one. The Pisana skimmers. Despite its appearance as an arid world, Pisana has an agricultural economy based around its subterranean dust forms. The parched desert conditions do, however, mean that it requires a lot of land to produce profitable crop yields. To cover such large distances, local Aki farmers make use of swift open-air repulsor lift skimmers. These skiff-like conveyances are stripped down and utilitarian, easy, customized for a wide variety of uses, from plow or low vehicle to family transport or mobile seed market to Poe Dameron, Finn, Ray, Chewbacca, BB-8, and C-3PO. They also make swift escape craft. And you see up here at the top, the port side view, auxiliary power unit, engine castings, and then you see on the load skimmer itself, column-mounted steering vane redistributes repulsor thrust, frame but re-ovened flexor cord, bolt of textile sails, tiller rod, speed throttle, hand grip, exposed power cell for easy replacement, air intake and filter. Poe rightfully boasts that he can fly anything, and this includes the loader skimmer. The wind in his face and lack of sophisticated control surfaces bring back memories of the simple microlight gliders he would build and soar in over the treetops of Yavin 4. C-3PO, as usual, is less than nostalgic about flight. Finn, meanwhile, concentrates on providing covering fire. And the load skimmer, Poe Dameron, hotwires a load skimmer for his escape vehicle with Finn and C-3PO joining him abroad, rating for carrying up to 120 metric tons of cargo, either towed from its fairing or concentrated on its flatbed. The skimmer's raw repulsor lift power can be funneled into thrust for unloaded speeds in excess of 250 kilometers per hour. Poe stands at the tiller, controlling thrust and this right hand on the throttle grip and direction by rotating the tiller rod. The latter is connected via cables to the skimmer's aft steering column. Oh, and before we go today, I'm going to have you go check out my buddy's YouTube page. He's almost at 1,000 subscribers that he needs. So I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to ask you to subscribe. If you don't want to watch it, you never have to watch it. Just, get him in there. Every couple helps. I think he's about 13 away, or was earlier today. So, but we'll go over that at the end. I just wanted, that way I'll remember when I forget, or somebody can remind me. Anyways, the manufacturer of this is a Suro sub, model HS19 cargo loading transport skimmer. Affiliation is civilian. It is 3.22 meters, 10 feet, 7 inches, length 6.7 meters, 22 feet, one pilot, 200 kilometers an hour, 250 kilometers an hour, which is 155 miles an hour, and it does not have any weapons. Yeah, Pauline, I love these books, and I like talking about these books, and I like talking Star Wars with people, so that's why I'm doing this. I have a few other books that are a little bit more special that I'm going to be doing Patreon only. But those will eventually come out to the regular feed too. So, it's just I'm gonna try and get a little more Patreon stuff involved, and I don't want to really take away from what I've been doing regularly for free. But a couple of the special, or more, what I think are the more special books, like the archive book, that's going to start off as Patreon. Go on the Patreon first. I'm still going to continue like these art books and things like that. But we'll talk about it at the end too. All right, let's get me talking. It's all Pauline's fault. Damn it. All right, so transport skimmer, manufacturer GoCorp, modified Arnskin 75D skimmer, civilian, 2.87 meters, 9 feet, 5 inches, 6.75 meters in length, 21 feet, 7 inches long. One crew, same speed, 250 miles an hour, 250 kilometers per hour, I'm sorry, at 155 miles an hour. Weapons, none. So the transport skimmer that Ray appreciates, thanks again to Poe's hot wiring skills, is a basic light-duty cargo truck that was on its way to bring supplies for the Festival of the Ancestors, though Ray regrets having to steal what was doubtless a needed vehicle on someone's farm. The relentless pursuit of the First Order leaves her few options. Ray's instinctive piloting abilities, along with an innate feel for desert terrain, give her an edge in the chase. She even manages to impress Poe with her maneuvers. Chewbacca uses his bowcaster to provide covering fire, and BB-8 even helps shake enemy pursuers from the clever use of festival smoke canisters. The starboard articulated steering vane. It has we talked about the primary driver, 75 FW, turbine thruster, airspeed sensing rods, prow splitter, air intake blades, bundled dried goods for festival market. Gated floor reduce vehicle weight, paint work stripped away, All right, can you hear me now? Okay, my headphones just died, which is really weird because I had those charging all night. So maybe there's an issue with my battery on my headphones. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that and see because I luckily bought the warranty on those with Best Buy. Best Buy, they should sponsor this show because I bought my computer from there. I buy all my stuff from there. It's not necessarily the cheapest or the best, but if I would have bought my computer somewhere else and saved a few dollars on it, and then I went to go have the stuff added to it that I am, and I have a problem with my computer, it's going to cost me $500, $1,000 to get it fixed. I mean, you pay for that up front, kind of with some insurance, but it's not really insurance. But you pay $200 for their everything package. So whatever I need done, they can do for me. But anyways, yeah. So let's see here. Maybe I'll have to get some new headphones. I think we're talking about the front view. Turbine intake, dust filter, paintwork stripped away by sand particles. Fact file. Skimmer and cargo skiffs tend to have... fun fact file, I'm sorry. Skimmer and cargo skiffs tend to have very simple controls, as even fifth-degree labor droids are expected to pilot them. These skimmers are related in type and function to the Urbic and Bath II cargo skiffs, once favored by Jabba the Hutt. The Desert Chase splits the two skimmers along different routes, with Poe and Finn leading their pursuers into a narrow cannon. While this move keeps them directly in the enemy's sights, it also makes it harder for the enemy to evade their return fire. I'm hoping so. I mean, they told me it was going to be 2 to 3 weeks. I gave it to them on the 25th. So we're at like 3 weeks now. But yeah, so we'll have to see. And this next one, I really like this picture. Where, oh, where has Mr. Rez gone? Oh, where can he be? All right. Ray's Skimmer cross-section review. Oh, and Andy's here. Andy, thanks for coming back from vacation and realizing, you have your Star Wars friends that you neglect for a week. The last thing we hear from you is, hey, Condor, make a video for me. Give me some content to use while I go away on vacation so I don't have to do anything. And then nothing. Not even like, here, I got you some sand. I got you some sand from the Sarlacc pit. Or anything like that. Not that I kept tabs on you where you were. I don't have your phone tracked. I'm not creeper like that. Anyways, let's get back to this. Ray's Skimmer cross-section view. Look how Chewie look. I like Chewie so much. He's so much fun. He's just like, oh my god, I want to do it. I want to be Chewie's dog. The Arkeson 75D skimmer that Ray liberates during the Ray liberates belongs to farmer Joe Dasby Grumbun. He had used it to transport to the festival some supplies, dried goods from last year's harvest, which had been taking up room in his slith barn. Gorbun's grandson has, unknown to the farmer, been tinkering with the skimmer, decoupling governors that would have otherwise limited its top speed.
Grubern is shocked that some strange young woman would steal his workcraft and that the First Order would give pursuit, but even more shocked that his old 75D could tear into the desert at such a clip. All right, so let's see. We have simplified, sturdy construction. The lack of sophistication in the skimmer system means there are fewer things that can go wrong aboard the craft. This is true for most of the vehicles on Pisana, where the ever-present dust of the desert can clog more delicate machinery. Control systems are mostly mechanical rather than electronic, with raw muscle power transformed through the tug of cables and pulleys to move the shear vanes or open the fuel flow in the thruster. Ray pushes the old skimmer to its limits in her attempt to outrun the First Order. And then, end of the road. Not being a combat craft, the skimmer's defenses are limited to the arranged armaments carried by. Okay. Not being a combat craft, the skimmer's defenses are limited to the armaments carried by Chewbacca and Rey, as well as some ingenuity from BB-8. Launching a festival smoke popper provides some makeshift cover for the pursuing tread speeder and jet trooper. The chase is cut short while an explosive blast upends the skimmer, sending its occupants flying into the dreaded shifting mires. The sucking sinkhole of dark sands leaves no trace of the skimmer, bringing an end to Grubben's reliable old utility vehicle. All right, here we go. Dry goods to be sold at festival. Chewbacca prepares to return fire. Improvised tension cable keeps steering vane from sagging. Control cable bundle. Tiller head with weather shroud. Steering vane accelerometer. Vane accelerometer. Undressed power cables. Serve motor rod. Power plant exhaust. Mag plates to hold down metallic cargo. Rear repulsor lift plates. Fuel catalyzer and distributor. BB-8 stays behind cover. Engine drive turbine, then going around the bottom. Turbine inlet with particle screen. Control system governor. It's disconnected right now. We already found out about that. Collision warning. Annunciator. Airspeed sensing rods. Then going back up to the top over by the wonderful Daisy Ridley, aka Ray, in this great book. Steering rod with squeeze activated accelerator handle. Ray tries to dodge rapidly approaching obstacles. Ray LPA NN14 blaster pistol. Lamps in storage box can be affixed to railings. Repulsor field generator. Oh, I thought that was the end of it, but it's not. There's still a couple more pages. So I wrote on the thing that it was only going to page 123, but it's got a couple more pages left. So I guess we might as well just get those bad boys out of the way, and I can change that later on. Hopefully I won't go on a half-hour rant about society at the end of this today. But here we go. For the ladies out there, or guys, not to be, discriminating. It's just, kind of like personal preference. I'm into girls, not to guys. So obviously my first thing when I see a guy, it's like, oh, the girls. But, the guys are included in that too. Resourceful and resilient. The scream of incoming TIE fighters drown out the festival, and Poe Dameron springs into action, recognizing that they'll never make it back to the Falcon in time. He leads his friends to a pair of park skimmers, which he hotwires for flight. Finn is surprised at Poe's thievery skills, wondering how a pilot from the New Republic and the Resistance came to have them. And we got one more to go here. Yeah, when I looked at it the other day, I thought that this was the last page, that Poe one, but it's not. So, all right. If the resistance is to thwart, oh, I'm sorry, on the trail of Ochi, and if the resistance is to thwart the reinvigorated First Order's plan for domination, it must first find the planet Exegol, and this can only be done with the Sith Wayfinder. Luke Skywalker and Lando Calrissian had investigated rumors of a hunter to the Sith relics named Ochi of Bestoon years earlier, having kept his ears on the underworld. Calrissian had heard of an inebriated Ochi bragging at some distant bar that he had been on the hunt for the Wayfinder and had found it in one of the Emperor's vaults. Luke and Lando sought Ochi, but the trail ran cold in the scorched sands of Pisana. Now, nearly 15 years later, Ray picks up the hunt. Oh, and remind me for our question time at the end, I have some more good news for the network. Ochi's blade. Ochi's ornate knife is etched with runic Sith symbols. While Ochi was no Sith, he associated with cultists who longed for the Sith's return. Long dead or cadet old tongue runes of the Sith, crossguard concealed measurement arc for the use of pinpointing missing wayfinder location. And that's something I just want to bring up. A lot of people talked about, how, when they made that, Ochi's blade that he's using, how do they know the way the Death Star was going to be, the pieces it was in, and everything. They never said the blade was ancient. They just said the etching on it was ancient. So, yeah, I mean, there's that. So, anyways, getting back to Ochi of Bastoon, a known associate of Imperial Advisor Yip Tashu, and the self-styled acolytes of the Beyond. Ochi was obsessed with ancient Sith arcana. Enabled by Tashi, he pored over forbidden Sith text and staunchly believed that the extinct order was destined to return to glory. Though Ochi could not touch the Force, he believed the dark side propelled him and shaped his actions. Ochi was no mere relic hunter Ochi was no mere relic hunter in the employ of the Emperor's most sinister agents. He was also an assassin. He bore a traditional hex charm of Sith assassins and considered his murders to be in the service of greater darkness. Beyond the vile Ochi's bones now litter a Vexus lair beneath the shifting mire of Lurch Canyon. What fate befell him is unknown, but his bones have long since been picked clean by gouge beetles, and there's Ochi's skull. Oh, and Andy, I'll let you know why you were here. They've dropped about 10 new Black series and about 30 vintage figures that are going to be coming out between like the middle of next year. Just give you a little heads up. There's some other news, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, here we go. Vexus. The Vexus is an armored snake that burrows its way beneath the sand of Pisana. The oil it excretes from its skins hardens the sand it travels through, creating a growing network of tunnels. And here we have I'm just seeing what's going on. Raiders girl prefers Adam Driver over Oscar Isaac. I'm not sure what Royal Farm Boy's talking about. Andy's trying to make dates with people in here. So here we go. C-3PO. And, C-3PO was kind of annoying. Or whatever. He kind of turned it around at the end of, the saga. And he's kind of now more beloved than I think he ever was before. It's kind of like, you got Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie are like the Muppet or the Sesame Street characters. But, at least Bert was fun. I think I would have fun hanging out with Bert. I'd have fun hanging out with Bert, but I'd be, busting his balls the whole time and purposely antagonizing him. Where I don't think C-3PO would be as much fun that way. But, it was the fact that the actor was kind of not a nice person to Kenny Baker. Anthony Daniels was kind of a douchebag to Kenny Baker, from all accounts. Because he was jealous. I mean, everybody liked R2 better than C-3PO, so he was jealous. That's why you go to a Celebration and he tries for an hour-long panel to sell his book instead of giving us any stuff we really wanted. But anyways, okay, let's get back to this. C-3PO. While unearthing the mysteries that Ochi had concealed in esoteric symbols, Rey and her companion discover the value of the abilities of C-3PO, their loyal protocol droid friend, within a massive databank of languages, both active and extinct. C-3PO can read the Sith runes. However, hardwired protocol within his translator systems prevent him from divulging what the texts say. The structures of the Old Republic have long banned the open sharing of Sith knowledge. Nonetheless, C-3PO is delighted to be of use. All right, so he has energy transducers, logic function computers, photoreceptors, intermotor actuating coupler. C-3PO is from Planet of Constructionist Tatooine. And I'm sure we all know, I've joked around that C-3PO is kind of like Luke's stepbrother because Anakin Skywalker built him. Well, he didn't really build him. He was refurbished. C-3PO was out for 100 years before we see him in The Phantom Menace. but he was beaten up, and little Annie finds him and brings him back and rebuilds him or fixes him. Yeah, we can talk about that later. Just popped in my head. Manufacturer Anakin Skywalker seats, not 100% true. I mean, the C-3PO that we know of, it is. But, that's why, like, when Padme, who at the time is pretending she's not the queen, which gets into the whole Handmaidens thing, which is very nice books, very, very entertaining reading. He's first introduced to Padme, and that wasn't the first time like he was brought to life or built. That's why his eyes hanging out. These are things. Yep, Rural Farm Boy, Michael speaking Star Wars canon. You got to know the. I mean, you don't have to know the history, but it helps. But then you have things where it's kind of misleading on here too. That C-3PO says manufacturer Anakin Skywalker. I mean, kinda. He rebuilt him, but that's for afterwards, I guess. All right, here we go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. His age, he's at least 67 standard years, with some componentry over 148 standard years old. So he's at least 148 years old, some of his parts. But yeah, we can talk about that later on. Let's get through these last couple of pages. We chased Achi halfway across the galaxy, where the trail went cold. Achi disappeared into the desert. Lando Calrissian. All right, and then we have Ochi's ship over here. The Bastoon Legacy. This is the rear view of it, the first one we see. It's got ion engine, articulated thrust exhaust, hyperdrive motivator, double laser cannon turret, starboard sublight spur-light engine assembly. Ochi's ship. Luke Skywalker, Lando Calrissian found Ochi's ship, the Bastoon Legacy, parked on a bluff beyond Lurch Canyon, which there was no trace of Ochi aboard. Evidence pointed to Ochi having left his ship aboard a land speeder, but the shifting sands buried any trace of direction or purpose he might have had in leaving his ship. Though Skywalker and Calrissian abandoned their search and the vessel, the tranquil nature of Pisano's desert preserved the ship as it was. Aside from slight sand clogs and intakes and thrusters and silk strands left by nomadic Solif spiders, the ship is ready to launch after more than a decade of inactivity. So here we go. 30 BSI. The Acolytes of the Beyond escape the Empire's collapse. 13 BSI. Bastone's legacy possibly spotted departing Jakku. 13 BSI. Lando Calrissian and Luke Skywalker followed trail to Pisana. 1 ASI. Ochi remains found on Pisana. Despite having sat unattended for years in Lurch Canyon, Ochi's starship, the Bastoon Legacy, had remained untouched. Its fuel cells and engine systems re-engage, and the ship comes alive under the command of Poe Dameron. Fun fact file over here. The Navicomputer upon Ochi's ship has been deliberately wiped clean to cover his tracks and keep secret his assignments. The shifting mires swallowed Ochi up whole, including his land speeder. Oh, I just looked at the chat really quick. Pauline, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not trying to make you sad, but Anthony Daniels, he was mean to Kenny Banker. People wanted to. I mean, this is all I wasn't there for it, but it's not just like a he said, she said thing. Like, he was a dick to him. Like, he really was. He was mean to him. And, like, hateful. And, like, just going on signings and things like that. And they had to be somewhat civil to each other because they acted together, and that's how they made their money, was at cons and stuff like that. But he treated him like crap, and it was kind of well known. But let's just get through this book. No, I'm upset. Poor Kenny Baker. He's not even here anymore. But the manufacturer is the Subport Corporation, model WTK-85A Interstellar Transport. Acolytes of the Beyond is the affiliation. The height is 7.28 meters, which is 23 feet 11 inches. The length is 21 meters, which is 68 feet 11 inches. The crew is one pilot, double laser turret, 2 forward laser cannons. And here's the landing gear deployed, on the Bastoon Legacy. Cockpit with levered viewpoint. Main entry ramp can support embarked vehicles. Rear landing strut. Final stage drive unit. Stabilizer vane. And externalized coolant pump lines. All right. And this is going to be the last page. Real Farm Boy, why don't you do me a favor, if you will be so kind? Can you find the YouTube page for Lunga and share it in the stream so people can click on it afterwards? You don't have to do it right now, like towards the end after we finish this. So anybody that's in here can just click on it so they can subscribe to them so we can get them to that 1,000. I don't know if I can do it with my computer. That's the only reason I'm asking. And like I said, I mean, I follow him. I watch him every day. He does Star Wars. He does everything. But he also gets into some controversial stuff, that I don't really deal with. But his Star Wars stuff is great. It's entertaining, to say the least. I think we should be able to get at least a couple people on here to sign up with them. He does a show almost every day at 3 o'clock Central, which is 4 o'clock our time, or 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock our time, which I usually try and catch. Sometimes I guest on there too. I've been on there as a guest quite a few times actually. So, all right, let's get this done. The Bastoon Legacy cross-section view. The Bastoon Legacy is a modified WTX-85A interstellar transport, originally manufactured during the last days of the Galactic Republic by Subpro Corporation. It was designed for scouts or pilots who preferred operating with minimal crew requirements. The loner Aki of Bastoon, Ichi, some dude, I don't know, was drawn into the independent promising by such a design. The ship can operate with a single pilot, though safety requirements demanded a co-pilot station with modulator, redundant controls to relieve the pilot of certain duties. For reasons that remain a mystery, the ship is loaded with dozens upon dozens of blaster rifles and pistols. The drive systems. The massive tubular engine structure flanking the vessel's hull, one combination sublight engine and hyperdrives, though it has lain abandoned for many years. The Bastoon Legacy state-of-the-art navicomputer once granted the ship's impressive Sublate Performance's idea of the assassination assignments required for Achi to quickly be on the other side of the galaxy in atmospheres or sublight velocities. The ship ion drive gave the Bastoon Legacy near starfighter speeds, though Achi landed to direct a significant portion of the ship's power to the deflector shield systems, cutting the top speed in favor of protection. The vessel was only lightly armed, as Achi preferred to do his dirty work by hand rather than in ship-to-ship combat. And we have Ship of Memory. Ray recognizes the Bastoon Legacy as the ship that once departed from Jakku, stranding her in the desert planet in the custody of Unkar Plutt. An image of herself as a child, frantically wailing at the ship's departure, springs unbidden into her mind. Could it be the very same ship, or merely one of the same model? Or is her slipping control of her abilities and emotions creating connections where there are none? Ray stops to consider her turbulent thoughts, briefly calmed by BB-8's discovery of a companion droid aboard the ship, a little wheeled unit named Dio. All right, so we're going to go back to the other page and start on top. Articulated thrust exhaust nozzle, thrust positioning vectorals, coolant pump, sleeping quarters. Ray considers her next move. Hyperdrive, motivator, deflector shield generator, acceleration compensator, vehicle and passenger access ramp. It is retracted at the moment. Emergency atmosphere tankage. Particle shield reinforcing subsystems. BB-8 and C-3PO meet Dio. Alvor dampering coolant line. Topside hatch above pilot station. Bypass duct ejection port. Antenna above engineering station. Ramp scout particulate collection bin. And then we're going to go back to the other page. On the bottom, we have the stabilizer fin, conductive shield distributing, cowling, hyperdrive generators, fuel lines, fuel atomizer chamber, compressor vanes, atmospheric flight turbine inlet, ramp articulator reservoir, forward laser cannon, fin at co-pilot station, Poe Dameron at pilot station. Armored substructure serves as damn it. Armored substructure serves as laser cannon flash suppressant. You have a reinforced intake frame and the electrostatic baffle vanes keep debris out of the intakes. And this is the last page for today, folks. Why? Why do you ask? Because Kajimi is next on the next time. Could be tomorrow, could be Friday, could be on the weekend, could be next week. I don't really know. I'm hoping to get this done. We're at this, so this puts us at 128, 130. So we got to page 129. I need to change that. So 129, and then the last page theoretically is going to be 195. So about another 70 pages to go. Roughly 7 more times, and we're done with this. Depending on how goes it and what we're really dealing with and everything. And maybe I'll say, hey, we're gonna quit, and people say, no, let's keep going. But got a ways to go, But yeah, we'll see what happens. Real far, go ahead and share that if you can. For Lunga's YouTube channel, just because I don't think I'll be able to do that right now myself. Just the way it goes. So yeah, anybody that's in here, go ahead and give my buddy Lunga, just subscribe to him at least, even if you're not looking for somebody else's content to follow. He deals with everything, comics and Marvel and DC and movies, and he does a little bit of everything. He's more of a pulp culture guy with, Star Wars. I meant to share it in here, so that anybody that was in here can do it. Because I know like Pauline doesn't have Twitter or whatever, and then whoever else is in here that is being some non-talkative looky-loos, which looky-loos are great. We love looky-loos, just as long as they hit that like button and subscribe, and go ahead and share this video on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube and whatever else you do your things with your things, so that we get some more people in here hanging out and talking and chatting. I'm looking right now. We got 8 likes. We got 7 people watching right now. We got 8 likes. I know there was a bunch of people in and out earlier. Yeah. So, like Pauline, anytime you ever want, I know you have a lot of questions and stuff that you ask, and that's fine. I love questions, because that's the whole thing, about this is talking with people that know more than you, because that's how you learn about it. And when you have questions, and we're going to answer your questions for you, and we're gonna learn you some Star Wars there. And that's what, like, I talk to people all the time. Like when I had Sal on a couple of weeks ago, Sal was talking about stuff, especially stuff with the EU or Legends, and I have no idea what he's talking about. And I just kind of sat there with a smile on my face. I was like, okay. And I think he even said to me, he's like, "You have no idea what I'm talking about." I was like, "Nope, just keep going, dude, because that's how you learn about more stuff." And I listen to podcasts all the time to learn stuff and get a different point of view on something, or other people's YouTube channels. Whether they're the big ones or the little ones, or all of a sudden somebody says, "Well, I think this is what happened or how it happened," and it's like, I never thought about it like that. There was something that was kind of mind blowing the other day. Goldman's another one. I was watching the Goldman, and I forget what he brought up. Something he said, "Well, I think it's like this," and I was like, "You know what? I never really thought about it like that. I don't agree with you, but you made some really, really valid points, and I think that might be, even though I don't think you're right, I think that might be along the lines of, a good thing to maybe explore or talk about sometime." That's what we're here for. And there's obviously people that know more or know more about a certain subject than I do. That's just the way it's always going to be. There's somebody that's going to be know more, or especially when you get into the books. I'm not here to take away from anyone and their fandom when they say they're a fan. If they just watch the movies and they say they're a fan because they've only watched the movies, that's fine. But there's so much more in the world than there are of the books and the comic books and the cartoons, that I'm not calling them plot holes, but there's things that get filled in, or only so much you can fit in a movie. And they can't tell you what a person's thinking in the movie unless they have a narrator. And the Star Wars movies don't have narrators. But you pick up the book, or especially like the novelizations, and they can tell you exactly what the person's thinking then, or how they're feeling, where you just kind of have to interpret their actions, on screen to really get what, they're feeling. Like you could, I mean, yeah, you can go by their facial expressions and what you really think they're saying, but until you really get down to it, you don't really know. So that's where it comes in to the you have now a little bit more conducive, and I'll admit, the sequel trilogy could have been much, much better. It's just different authors and things being rushed and trying to do things, or whatever it was. But now you have, like I was saying the other day, you had Alphabet Squadron, then you have Shadowfall. Well, Shadowfall ends up where it seems like Squadrons is going to start the video game. So are you getting, Star Wars story continuation from a book to a video game, and that fills in a little part right there? Is that going to lead into the next book, which Freed is working on, and it's almost done? Well, I shouldn't say it's almost done. He said he can't say what part of the process he's in, or however it's going to be. So, like with that. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess we're going to see, if they're going to start doing. And then, if you only read the books, you obviously don't have to know the video game to go from book to book. They're going to keep that together. But it's sure going to help if you can, fill in information, or it's going to tell you that it ended here at this battle, and then the book starts up at this next battle or whatever. But I'm just going to say a month later. Well, that month is filled in then by the book, or I'm sorry, by the video game. To give you answers that you're not going to have, or answer some questions you might have about what happened during the time frame, or whatever it is. So I mean, just the same with like when we were going through the visual dictionary, and I said, "Oh, Lando stealing the puffer pig." Well, Lando steals the puffer pig, and that's in Clone Wars. In the cartoon. Do you need to know that to enjoy the movies? No, but it just adds a little bit more fun to it. And do you need to know that in the book? Like if you're going through the visual dictionary and you're reading it, you're just gonna be like, that seems weird. I never saw that. I don't know about what that is, or anything along those lines. Like, what are they talking about? The puffer pig? You don't need to know it, that he stole a puffer pig, or helped pirate, or do whatever he did with the puffer pig. But it just helps. It adds on to the story. That there's also a lot of things that they probably should have talked about in the movie more than they really did, especially just going on with this last one, or with the other movies. But once again, that's going to make the movie so much longer that you're not really gonna how is it on this page? I was just talking to you, Pauline. Well, I mean, talking to anybody here, but kind of, specifically to you, that it's like, there's all different levels of people here with their knowledge, and You know, just as long as everyone wants to sit here and talk Star Wars, it doesn't matter what you know or what you don't know. You know, somebody's gonna teach us. Somebody's gonna tell you. You know, you want to talk about books and Black Series, come to me. You want to talk about Funko Pops, go to Kylo. Because I do not collect Funko Pops. You know, so that's where you know, that comes into there. But all right, let's see if I can do this real quick. I don't know if I have the right one right now, but I should be able to do this here. Let's see if this cooperates with me. All right, so what you can do is if you guys have a chance and do me this favor, I'm going to paste this right here for those of you who haven't followed him. This is actually the video he did today. Um, but you can click on this link and go and give him a follow on there, or subscribe to him on there. And he'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it. He's been on my channel before. I've been on his channel before. He was one of the featured guests the one time. We talked about Star Wars and the Great Order, and um, all right, here we go. No, it's the freaking computer, man. It goes so slow. I went to click on the one thing, and the mouse kept going. But yeah, go hit up Lunga. After this, I think we're gonna call it quits here pretty soon. I got to read those comic books and try and decide what I want to do. If I want to do a little review of them or not, or talk about it. You know, like it says in the bio, I talk about whatever I want to. Um, so it's kind of it's Star Wars adjacent. I mean, he's a Star Wars author. He was written 2 Star Wars books. You know, no idea what these comic books are about, but I also need to read 70 or 80 volumes of Afra before the book comes out next week. And maybe some Vader stuff in there. Plus, I need to get stuff out to the mailed out to the patrons, and a couple other people I told them I was going to mail stuff out to, and maybe get some stickers out to just some other people. Not everybody, because some people are assholes. I don't really like them, so I'm not going to send them free stuff. But you know, that's just me. But yeah, if you Pauline, anytime you want to come on here, you don't have to. I know some people like Mr. Rez doesn't like to. Mr. Rez doesn't like to come on screen. Mr. Rez doesn't like to hear his voice also, so he doesn't even want to talk. He'd rather just sit in the chat, which is fine too. But Rural Farm Boy, there's stickers for everybody. For the patrons, there's stickers, and there might be another goodie or two that go in their little thing they're going to get. But and then, I told Johnny Orm I was going to mail him something, so he's got a Trandoshan Thug coming. I told him that a couple weeks ago. I haven't mailed it out yet, though, but he's got that coming. Somebody else is getting something. Now, Pauline, I know you're not on Twitter or on Facebook, but you can always go to TMT Bacta Tank at gmail.com. That's my secret email address or Gmail address that I use. That I just use that for like when I'm dealing with like authors and stuff like that. Oh, so anyways, Lissa, who's the publicist from what was it? Disney Lucasfilm Press. She's the one I had to deal with to get the interview with George Mann before. And, I've talked about, I did the interview with him, and it was my first interview, and I thought it was kind of crappy and whatever, but he liked it. But then when I went to go deal with her with some other authors, she's like, well, we're not dealing with them right now. They're on to their own publicist. Let me pass your information on to them. And I never heard back. So I didn't know if I was getting blown off or whatever. Just it's that whole, thinking like, oh, maybe, I don't know. And I never heard anything back. I'm like, okay. So then when I was talking to her this time, trying to set up something with George Mann, she was like, oh, get a hold of me in a couple of weeks. And I was like, okay. And I was like, what if, they didn't want me or whatever. And when I was talking to her, this is all through email. And it's like, just really quick, here you go. And then wait a couple of days for a response or whatever. And, she's like, okay, when do you want to do the interview? Or, when, it's more like when's good for you. We'll see if we can work something out. Cause you want to be like, okay, when, it's all when's trying to make sure people can match up times and stuff like that. And I said, well, it's going to have to be after the book comes out because I'm not on the mailing list. And then she talked to George Mann, and I'm going to be interviewing him sometime in the beginning of August because I'm not on the mailing list for them. And she said, what's your address? I'll get you on the mail list. That way, you can do reviews for us. I said, sure. So that's one of the big ones down. I won't get this book because it's already out, but I'm going to get the Clone Wars anthology book, which I'm already getting. I think they call it a galley copy. I have a galley copy on Kindle, but I hate reading off the computer. I need that book. But then I think it's DK book. I dealt with DK before. That's who my last interview I just did with Charles Blavel. I sent them a message too, or I sent her a message. I said, hey, can you tell me who I need to talk to try and get on the mail list? And she sent me a message back. She said, you're on it right now. So she put me on that one. So now I have DK books I'll be getting advanced copies of. I don't know if it's going to be all of them, some of them, but anything's better than nothing, because that way I can have the book read and have it ready to go and don't have to then wait for the book to come and just whatever it is. So now I have two of the bigger ones. And the best part is free books, dude. I do this for fun. It's nice to have the patrons give me some money, to help out with costs and help support. And, that means a lot to me that, someone's willing to, do that. And if I can get free books and free toys, even if it's only a couple, not all of them, that's a big freaking help too, right there. So now I got to reach out and try and get to, some of the other companies like Titan and Atlas and Del Rey. But it's one of those things that once you get one of them in there, or you get in there with one of them, and it's a lot easier to get the other ones too. It doesn't mean I'm going to get every book. I don't expect to get every book, but whichever ones they decide to send me. All right, Pauline, thank you very much for stopping by. Thanks for hitting up Lunga. Anybody else that's in here that hasn't hit up Lunga, you can either do it now or after the stream. The stream's going to be done pretty much soon. I think I'm pretty much done. It's been an hour and 50 minutes. I know the first 15 minutes were because I didn't turn my microphone on and shit was messed up. But, yeah. So, yeah, just hit up Long Guy after this. And, we'll see what we can do. See if we get him to his 1,000. But, yeah, we'll see what's going on. I gotta check with the boss and see what's going on for tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a little book action going on tomorrow. If we do, it'll be around the same time, so keep a lookout for that on the Twitterverse and your notifications and everything else. With that, I say good day. May the Force be with you always.